Hello and welcome back to Rollercoaster Tycoon, where I feel like it was only yesterday that we've seen this title screen. No, but in all honesty, the Tiny Towers Park was a quickie. A nice and tiny quick park, you know? Not that I mind. I mean, I think it's good to have tiny and quick parks, especially after long, big and difficult parks. But it does mean that we're up to the next. Though, to be fair, you know, Tiny Towers was easy, but I made such a huge mistake at the start by just quickly hooking up all the infrastructure without actually taking into account, like, okay, but where do the coasters need to go? Which I feel like is a real hidden pitfall of the park. So yeah, nice one for the devs, you know, to hide a challenge like that in there. Which I think they did pretty solid. Just look at this coaster. This is by far one of the best of these coasters that I've seen. Anyway, we're up for the next park, so let us have a look at what the next park will be. And by the way, guys, we're getting dangerously low here into the rest of the park. You know, into like the last bit. So anyway, let's go to Nevermore Park. Now let's pause it. A large park with a novel transportation system around its edge. Your objective is to have 10 different types of roller coasters operating in your park, each with a minimum length of 1400 meters and an excitement rating of at least 7. Okay. Well then, again another easy park. No failure condition either. How good is that? Of course, this is all our standard stuff. Let's have a look at what we have here. What? Hold on a second, what? So, we don't have... Huh? Say what now? How exactly does this work out? Oh my goodness. Look at this. The guests are gonna be like dead tired when they arrive. Oh my goodness, look at it. How bad can this be for like a start of the park? They have like this underground entrance on like rock bottom. And then they all of a sudden make it to the surface over here as if it were magic. And I'm curious. We do not even have building rights for this, now do we? No, we do not. We only have building rights right over here where this one joint over here in the center is. Wow. Really? Did they actually? They did. My goodness, I mean, I get it that they want to be fancy, but really? They have to do it like this? Now, also, this is apparently a roller coaster that is, hold on a second. Objectives, please. So, to have 10 different types of roller coaster operating in your park, each with a minimum length of 1400 meters and an excitement rating of at least 7. I'd say that this counts, but really, I mean, why exactly a coaster as a transport ride? I mean, it's cool and all, but really? I mean, and you know what's the worst about this, by the way? In case you don't know what the devs like really did here, because I know what they did here. They basically made it so that, or we keep all the tarmac in the park open, or at least the majority of it. I think we can cut the outside loop here, or the inside loop. Like one of these two can be cut. Because there's like they're like double. And I believe this holds true for this bit too. Yeah, there's like this junction. Now the insides over here can probably be cut off. But other than that, it's gonna be a nightmare, because our guests can basically come out everywhere if we want to keep this coaster ride open. Oh, this is terrible. This is like a true nightmare. Right, okay. Knowing this, I mean, there is plenty of room. And we have all... Wow, it's not just plenty of room. We have like ginormous amounts of room. And we don't need to do much path construction, I feel like. Because path is not really going to be the issue. We can just build all the rides that we want. Like, close to the path. And then have the coasters be a little bit further out. That's not an issue. So, path construction is only to connect a ride up. We don't need to lay down infrastructure works here. Having said that, my goodness, is this a bad layout. It is really, really bad. Nevermore Park it was called, right? Oh, Nevermore it is indeed. Anyway, let us have a look at what we have available here. So, we have transportation rides here, like a miniature road, and we have a monorail, and monorail's not bad, especially if we take the big train. But we have this coaster as a transportation ride, so it's not like we need that. And then we have, well, this is not bad. This is definitely not bad. I believe 6 gentle rides, pretty good. Right, so here's the thing. We have like, let's do a count. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 coasters. In theory, we do not need to research any of these coasters. And there is quite a few pretty good ones in there too. But I think we should make it easy on ourselves and go for the roller coaster research and try and get like a few cooler designs. Because else it will be just a repeat of like, what was it? The Octagon Park, I believe. You know, where we also had to get 10 coasters, which I believe was like 1200 meters and also a 700 rating. So this is like the even worse version of Octagon Park. Shaped in a square with an octagon on the inside. Look, I see what the devs did here, you know. As a kind of like a sneaky reminder or reference to Octagon Park. Anyway, we are gonna research roller coasters, but only after we do thrill rides. Wow. This is good though. But this is just terrible. And this is also important. We have actually a rather decent amount of food stuff and drink stuff for a change. We have like 3 foods and 2 drinks. No swag, but that's pretty good. Right then. Guys, before we continue, let us see what we... Yeah, that's not gonna be enough, not by a long shot. Right, first of all, what we're gonna do, we need to decide whether or not we keep open Roller Coaster 1. I'm inclined to not to do that, and only open it like later on when the rest of the park will also be open. Yeah, I mean, what's gonna happen in reality is like all the gas that go on this coaster will be lost to us. We can more or less mitigate that a little bit by only making this accessible. But then all the guests who are like out here, they will be so mad because there is absolutely nothing to do. I'm not sure though, but does a system like this work in such a way that when they depart from here, their next exit or stop will be here and they will get out here? I'm not entirely sure if it works like that, but I also don't want to find out. And again, closing it is so cheesy. I mean, we have such a cool coaster. You know what I think we should do? If we do that though, we need to... Look, here's what I was considering. I was considering closing off the path like right after here with a no entry sign. But I just now thought, like, if we're gonna do that, it means that we need to assign areas for all our stuff. I'm not against that, but maybe that's what we should do. And then just, by the way, we have quite a bit of scenery here. That's gonna help tremendously with our come on. I mean, I'm having like a brain fart here, but oh, with the excitement ratings. Wow. Are we gonna do like a certain style? I mean, we might as well. This looks like a park, really. So why don't we give this a little bit more like a Roman junglish castle type look? I think that like for the main style, we're gonna stick with the Roman. So we'll have this be like, we'll have a no entry sign like right over there. Doesn't matter much. And then I think like for the time being, like over there and over there, and also over there. This is where we want our guests to be contained at in like at first. So, having done that, what we definitely need is a info kiosk at the start. Because without that, this is gonna end in tears. And it will already end in tears. Because I have a sneaking suspicion that I just know how this is gonna end, you know. We're gonna, let me give this prediction. I don't know if it holds true, but, you know, us closing off these sections of the park is only good for like, well, just basically like the real immediate start. We're gonna have guests be spread about here, get angry because of all the, you know, all the far apart with absolutely no facilities out there parts, and yeah, it's not gonna be good. Anyway, with this though, the good thing is we can keep our you know, our coaster open, and we can start actually charging like huge amounts of money for it, which is what we will do in just a moment. Now, that's the umbrella price. Let's make that the same as the coaster, as it is pretty good. But by the way, look at the nausea rating. For a coaster like this, you know, I've never seen one with such high nausea ratings. But it also means that because it's like really good with the intense or the excitement rating, we're gonna just charge $7. It also means that we have a mechanic. Hello, mechanic! You are mine right now, and you will patrol this whole first section here. And I will add areas to you, to your patrol route, the more we're gonna need you. We also will need a handy dude, and what we're not gonna do is have you mow the grass, because the way I see this is like it's one big play of weeds already here, so we can't really have you also mow the grass. Then nothing will get done, you know. All you'll do is mowing the grass. Now, any mess that's created up here, however unfortunate it will be, we'll leave it out there. Maybe what we should do is get like one handy dude who we just have like for incidents. And we will have you mow the grass, you know, whenever. But whenever we see dirt somewhere, we'll grab handy dude too. Right, good. The basis is there. It isn't actually. We need to give this a name like alright. Well, the thing is though, and that's, I'm not entirely sure, because, you know, the right length, what I'm thinking, and this is my theory, is that the game is like, okay, right length, 1400, less, fail, more, pass. And this in total is like way more, but because all of the sections between the stations are less, it might not count. I mean, I really consider the game logic to work like that, but we'll you know, we'll keep an eye on that once we finish our 10th coaster, whether or not the game actually checks for stuff like that. So what we're gonna have to do is just basically keep count on how far we are. If that's all, I mean, I can count to 2. 2, 1. Wait, what? Anyway, we should call this before Big Bang. Because this is like the first thing that was there. We're gonna leave the colors as is, you know. It's just a name that we have to change. Good. So at least we have a ride. And we have an info kiosk. Shall we just leave the game run for like 15 years? Or shall we not? I think the latter. Now what we need to think and consider about our shops and stalls is like our guests, when they come back from over here, they need to go to the toilet like really bad. They are hungry, they are thirsty. I think the best place for our toilets, and to be honest, I feel like we don't even really need like this junction here. So there. That's gonna be removed, and then the same over there. We just don't need it. We'll let that empty out, you know. So, and then once this is emptied out, then I don't think I'll remove it, but it at least means that for the time being we can concentrate our shops and stalls over here, because this is where they'll be needed most. And I think that like over here, for example, is like a good a place as any to get at least stuff like this sorted. Oh, and by the way, since we don't really need guest count or ratings, let's just charge for everything. Well, you know what we also haven't done? We haven't really taken a look at like, so how rich are, oh my goodness, they are loaded. Look, 100, 80, 90, 80 again. This is just like, look at this. Right, we don't need to worry about pricing then. I mean, I know that much. We can just charge whatever we want. Which is good, you know. I like this. Now, also, let us have, like, let us just do some terraforming. So, there we go. There, and then also, like, a little bit of terraforming over there. Or is this, like, in the worst spot? Yep. It is. Great damage. Already we're wasting money and we haven't done a single thing. Let's get this out here. This is just to get the basics down really, and we will need those basics. Yeah, and then over there we'll get like the other two things, like a lemonade and like a fry stall. That should at least keep us covered for like the immediate future. There we go. Now, it does seem to help a little bit with like concentrating the gas. So of course they'll be able to leave through, you know, this area through the coaster. But I guess a lot of them were also trapped over here, and because we cut off this area, there's nowhere for them to go really. Yeah, so they'll empty out, but oh, poor guests. I'm already feeling for your legs. You know, the ones that I feel like even worse, or at least their legs, is like you. Because you have a real long walk ahead of you. Oh my goodness. If you're clever, you'll take a coaster. Now then, what we need as well is a heavy bit of benchification and whatnot. And then as well over here, and we really need like a heavy bit of benchification here, because I mean, as nice as the terrain is, we don't have a lot of room for you know, trash cans and benches and all that. So as nice as it is, We're basically, the limited amount of benches are gonna get occupied like really quick. So, oh, and you know what we forgot? Totally forgot this. I hope we didn't waste too much time. Ooh, we might have. Yeah, look, our first research tick was not at full money. And I also don't know what it is, but we are gonna change this. I totally forgot. There, thrill rides, max it out, please. Now, as for like over here, I don't really think we should build any rides here. This is just underground starting area. We can get shops and stalls here. That's fine. We don't get rides here. We'll start with the rides like over here. And I don't know. I mean, let me also just get like a glimpse of like, okay, so this goes over here. And then it gets over here. And then this is like the next station. So in theory, what we should do is we should develop the park in this area, you know, like this over here. This is where we'll develop stuff. Rightio. Now then, with that said, let's get the tower out there. Why don't we get it like in this extremely high terrain? That's cool, right? Totally not, but that's you know, that's the way it's gonna be. And we sometimes have to make sacrifices. Also, in theory, what we should be able to do is if we terraform it a little, we should be able to... I mean, how is this? So we have a bit of space on this side too. In theory, what we could do is we could do like an exit connecting up here. And then have like the queue connect up here and have the thing be like right here. This tower thing, which I think is a clever move. So let's do that. Let's get it out there. So that means over here. And then all we need to do is just enlarge this, like so, yes. Is this clever? Is it really clever? Probably not, but we'll worry about that in a moment. For the time being though, I want this set up, so we'll put the entrance there. We'll get exit there, and let's also actually do that. And then we'll just start testing this. You know, this is like the first step. So now we're not gonna go like too extreme either on this. Let me see. We need to start testing this like straight away. So there. Okay, that's not really all that high. So we can go to like speed 93. Yeah, it basically means like we can just like shave off like these 3 pieces and it should still be good. Perfect. Right. Nice. So with this in place, charge like the max we can because we're gonna need the money. Oh yeah, we're gonna need the money. And now comes the more difficult bit, and that will be connecting everything. Let me start out with the exit path here, and just so that I know what they did here with the fences and the path style. It's all regular tarmac, and they all went with like these type of fences. Except over here. I think it's safe to say that this is a slight oversight from the devs. This seems like a style error here, you know. They've gone with all these fences there, but then this one's just like the regular one. However, it doesn't matter much. We're gonna go with these type of fences too. So, you know, everything will be in line. Now then, what we need to do is get this out there. And then, how exactly was the path height again? This means that it is at 7, so this should be it. And it is. Nice. Balls. Balls again, because apparently I need it there. Yes. And there's nobody there, but that's okay, you know, for now it will suffice. And then we need to actually get to height 14 on this, and we need to resurface like in between the toilets. This is a fact of life. And that might actually be doable as well. Oops. Because we're at like 13. So this would connect it. Wow. That's pretty solid. I quite like it actually. I think this can be opened up. I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to. Now, I do know why we need like at least some more stuff set up here. Because this is so needed. You just don't want to know. Also, because of the way we've set up stuff here, for the time being, we'll have... No. We'll get an extra handy dude, but the mechanic... I mean, you will have this extra area in there, because for the mechanic it's okay to have like a bit of overlap there. This handy dude, you'll just do this area. Don't mow the grass. Keep it clean. Yeah. Everything will be good. Right. What we also need to do is, aside from naming this, because that's what we definitely need to do. Also, I'm just trying to see, like, oh no, don't really see it. I don't see any guests getting off, you know, only at like this station. So, ah well. Anyway, what we need to do here is, aside from naming it and giving this a paint job, we need some music here, because it's awfully quiet. And last time we went with rock style 2, which I quite like. How's medieval? I don't know if this is gonna be good, but let's rock medieval throughout the park, right? Yeah, let's see how this goes. Wow, look just at how crowded things already are over here. This is gonna be a interesting park. And that's all I have to say about it. Now, let's see. Why don't we call this... Why don't we call this... the in-between? And I'm not gonna add lands behind it. For those of you who get that reference, right? Now, this will have Roman style. No, Roman style. There. And then... for that, we are gonna change out like this, because this looks way classier. The red is okay. Maybe just a slightly lighter red and then a darker red over there. Maybe like this way. That looks good, you know. I don't mind it with the red and white. I think that's a pretty solid choice. Yeah. Alright, looking good. Next, what we're gonna need is a gentle ride here. And of course, you know, as with all the gentle rides, they're gonna be rather challenging to fit. You know, here's the thing. I don't feel like this park will be all that cramped. But at the same time, this starting area is like a nightmare. Truly is. Shall we do this with like a too long queue? I feel like we should. So that means you need to be placed here. And then basically, yeah. I mean, this is just how it's gonna be. Too long queue size. It's probably like too long. We're probably gonna get like this queue time issue, you know, where guests are gonna be leaving the queue. Unless we, of course, place a few entertainers around there. And you usually do not really want to do that like right at the get-go, you know. It's not the best thing to do. We don't really need that many benches. And you know what we should do as well? Get like these fancy Egyptian light posts out there. You know, at least on the queue tiles. I think that's a good move on our part. So, this will also be $5 to start out with. And let's set this up. Forward rotation. Are we gonna do forward rotation? Let's do forward rotation. And basically we can open it up and we shall call this why don't we call this Circulum Fortunatum, which is basically like the Wheel of Fortune, but not in the Roman style. Alright, good. Wheel of Fortune then needs a little bit of a paint job, right? Just a little bit of paint job. Blue with like icy blue. This looks absolutely terrible. That also looks terrible. This looks terrible. That looks okay-ish. Can we have this be golden and look good? Probably does, but then in the sunshine. And seeing how it's like right now, we can always change it. We're gonna go with the classic colors there. Good. Well, guys, what we've done is effectively nothing but set up the basis of our park. And in theory, all we need to do now is just continue building out a little bit, like over here and over here. Maybe open up like this section as well, you know, of the park. Or of the path, I should say. And, yeah, you know, that's basically the way it's gonna be. We're gonna have to gradually expand it with rides and especially coasters. And we're gonna do so next time when we play more Rollercoaster Tycoon.